Well, we just got back from Anda and having a little break at a resort that's there, and we enjoyed it very much. Uh, it's always nice to get back home, though, even though uh, things are still in a state of not destruction, but of the aftermath. So it's always good to get home. Uh, I really wanted to talk about some of the comments that we've got recently, because it seems to me that our society, the world at the moment, is in quite a sorry state. Well, that's not such a hugely profound observation, is it? Because most people have realised that because life has gotten so difficult. Um, there are lots of people out there who are pointing the way to why we're having this situation and how we're being controlled and manipulated. I didn't want I didn't want to talk about that so much as what the changes it produces in people. And the changes it produces in people are a little bit on the sad side. Yesterday, we had some stuff to do. We picked up our visitor, Jasper. Jasper is, for those who didn't actually see any of those videos, Jasper is Dane. He's a Danish man and living in Denmark. So he's over here on a visit. He's been many times, so he's quite familiar with the Philippines. Okay, it's not new. But when he got in touch with me, he said that he would like to see some of the projects that we've been working on, because when he finally comes to live in the Philippines, he would like to do some volunteer work himself, working with people who really need it, because he will be able to live without working. But of course, most people want to have something to do. So even if that's being full out on enjoying themselves, they've got something to do. And he wanted something to do. So we obliged him and we took him around and we showed him quite a few of our projects. We showed him a lot of the houses that we built, the end of the road project, that's 10 houses, and we showed him the 5 houses that we built, and we showed him the police station that we'd also helped with by providing a kitchen, dining area, and 2 changing accommodation rooms where police officers who are on duty and doing a 24-hour shift can actually go in there, and obviously by working out what the roster would be, they can take time to have a little rest. So we took him to see that. Now, after that, we decided that we would go up and one of the things that we did was we went to the 1-year anniversary of the death of John and May's mom. Her mother was a lady, grand lady, that we admired very much, and she was a key voice, shall we say a voice, when we were doing the 10 houses at the end of the road. And hers was one of the houses, and she was very grateful, and she motivated the others to be grateful and perhaps satisfied with some of the things that they'd had, and not expect that we could do everything, which of course we can't. So that was one of the reasons that we were there at the end of the road project. And then we decided that we would go, we would on the spur of the moment. It was not an invite, it was an open invite without an acknowledgement and a confirmation. Because it entailed a drive up into the mountains with incredible views, we decided that we would do that and take Jasper with us. Well, it's a 4-wheel drive up into the mountains, and then it's a short walk, and we ended up where the birthday party of Brat Brat and the little girl who is 1 year old, and I didn't get her name. I didn't get the child's name. Brat Brat and her share a birthday, and Brat Brat is 22. She is also one of our students and is very, very strong and reliable for us when she volunteers on most of the projects that we do, which can use a little help on work, and Brat Brat is always there for us. Well, we went to see Brat Brat and to celebrate her birthday. She wasn't expecting us, so it was, I'm happy to say, a pleasant surprise for her, and she got to meet Jasper, who actually she had met once before, because when we did the blessing of House 93, he was there, and so was Brat Brat. So Brat Brat, I had seen him, but not had any kind of conversational exchange with him. Well, when we got there, it was a birthday party of a hilltop community. Now, when we say hills and mountains, mountains are designated so by a certain altitude. So if the altitude is right, this is my knowledge, to my knowledge, if they're a certain height based on from sea level, then they are officially mountains. I look out now and I see lots of rolling hills. That's what they look like to me. So we drive up there, a difficult drive, which we wouldn't have made if we hadn't had a four-wheel drive vehicle. So we get there, we drive as close as we can to the house, and then we walk. Well, Lorraine's father came to meet us, and Lorraine and Dada, and they came to meet us and take us to the aunt's house. I should explain that Lorraine's house and Lorraine's family's house is under the destructive hand of Odette, and we're not trying to. Everybody knows that we don't try on our videos now to raise solicit funds. We're not allowed to do that. We need a license to do that, which is still in process. Unbelievably, still in process. So we're waiting for our funding through our charity to be able to replace about 50% of the roof on the new house that we built for the family of Lorraine. So as the child was a child of the family that is headed by Lorraine's aunt, that's where the party was. Now, that brings me a long-winded way, but you know that's what I'm like. We got all kinds of, to me, negative comments on something that should never have been negative. When we got there, they know me, so I'm no surprise. They know that Beth and I are married, and Jasper is not married. He's not looking. He didn't look. He didn't find. But because I made a joke of that Jasper was here on vacation, that he was, I think I actually did say that he was going to live here eventually, and he was single. I knew that this would put the cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak. Well, then they point the finger at one of the most eligible young women, who was about 22 years old. Now, then started an exchange and a tease session with everybody laughing. And everybody laughed, and everybody pushed the two together as if they were the most eligible thing, and as if they were both interested, which actually Jasper stated right ahead that he was not looking for anyone, he was not eligible, and that he was leaving in a few days anyway and wouldn't be back for 4 or 5 months. So it was all in fun. And so many people took it as not funny, as some people thought it was very awkward and embarrassing for the foreigner. Some people thought that this is not by chance. This was a setup with all of the eligible women in the hilltop had come to look over the foreigner. But of course, they made it nasty, which got it deleted. I really don't want to see anyone being nasty on my channel. And I can do that because it's my channel. Saying they put a little picture of a steak, which means fresh meat, which downgrades all of what happened into being purely self-serving, which it wasn't. Another comment, unbelievably, was, why are they all laughing so much? And this, I thought, was a most revealing thing about how we have come to view having fun. Everybody there was having fun. We talked as if it was already a relationship. It was never that. It was never intended that. It was never described as being real. It was always in fun. And there were so many people who just didn't understand the idea of fun. I had to say in answer, if you look at the comments on the videos that we made while Jasper was there, you'll see that I said, you know, you need a sense of humour. And one sensible, I thought, sensible sub said about Jasper and his situation of being surrounded by a lot of pretty ladies and being joked about. He said, lucky guy. And the next one down said, how? Why? And I had to put there, he's lucky because he has a sense of humour and was able to tell the difference between serious and just having fun. So will we continue to get this kind of thing? Why would I bother? Why would I be bothered by people being critical? Here's the thing, is that there's something that's very important, I think, about human behaviour. And one of the tricks of human behaviour is in making yourself right by making someone else wrong. So if they're wrong, then you must be right. And it's used, it's overused, it's overworked, it's overtired. So we need to drop it. Now that's not as easy as it sounds, because it's something that we all do, no exceptions. Of course, except you and me. There's no real exceptions about this. We all do this to a greater or lesser degree. And that is what is at the base of when people are critical. Some were even blatantly critical. There's no fun. They said none of them are beautiful. This is just about money. They're there for money. Which seems to me to be such a very poor attitude, if that's what you think. These people must go out and they must never trust anybody. Whereas if you trust, and we're all afraid, I think, of trusting at some point or other. We're all afraid of doing it because we might be made a fool of. But in fact, we're never made a fool of. When someone betrays our trust, it's about them and not about us. If you trusted someone and hoped for the best for them, and they betrayed that trust, if they've let you down, if they've done something that was completely against the agreements you made, then it's not about you. You were never a fool. You were never a victim. You had something done which was not okay by someone else who was so busy thinking about himself or herself that he didn't care or didn't seem to care about anybody else. And that's one of the things that keeps us all apart. That and a face mask, okay? Now, I'm just over here in our extension. As I said, we just got back from Anda and having a really nice time. It's a beautiful resort. You'll see lots of video that we took. Just everything just so perfectly, nicely done. Very high standard of work, which we're hoping to emulate some of the ideas we'll use on the property that we're working on. And all I'm here really to do, and I need to open a few windows. There's no power, so we don't have any air conditioning or even any fans. It's the open window AC, if you get me. So we'll be doing that in a minute. And I came to do some exercises to work out this extension office we are going to move into. We are getting it ready bit by bit because we're very busy at the moment, so I'm not getting much time to do it. It has no kitchen. It has a bathroom and toilet, of course, but it doesn't have any kitchen, and it is attached by a small hallway to the red house, which, if you don't know, the red house is now in the process of being torn down. But even that is a slow project because Rado is doing that and does it when he can. So we've seen some portions of the red house taken down with sadness, and we'll move on. For those, occasionally I get a comment, even now, after Odette, which happened around, that was a super typhoon, in case you didn't know, that happened just around the Christmas time. And even now we get people, when I say that the red house is being torn down, they say, why? What happened? If you've been away and you come back, you need to look at a couple of the last few months of videos. So one thing of interest, which is which I might have you look at, is that we did incredibly well when we were doing fun videos, fun, uplifting, motivational, inspirational, in that they might inspire you to think that you too could have fun one day again. When so many of us are thinking, is there ever going to be fun again? And of course, that's the question, and the answer is we can have fun now. And when we were doing simple life videos, just having fun, being together, family, and all of that, we did incredibly well. We got into more and more and more commitment on doing our humanitarian work, which we have no regrets on. We've built 93 houses. We have been instrumental in building 2 churches and finishing 1. So that and many other things. We've built several sari stores. We've made the whole back area of the Atafi police station. We've remodeled that, rebuilt it, as I said. And we've recently, in the last week or so, we've put a cover on so that people who are visiting for whatever reason the police station in Atafi, they can be undercover from both the sun and the rain. So we've been very, very busy. Also, we as I say, we've just built 93, the 93rd house, and we have, I think it's something like 53. I thought it was 51. I mentioned that to Bez. She said, no, it's actually 53 students that we are supporting financially to get them through college and through high school. So that's keeping us very, very busy. And we like to get the people who are on our education support program, we like to get them to pay it back by helping on some of our projects. And we do have a lot on House 93. That was it was an incredible thing to see, because once again, there's always something negative. One person said, "There's so many, how do you get anything done?" He didn't see the joy in bringing together 25 young students and 15, thanks to the Taliban PNP, who sent along 15 officers who worked very hard to bring that project to a close. Thank you, guys and girls. Thank you very, very much on that. And it was great to see the community come together and get that all finished. And that brought another project which we're in the middle of finishing now. There was a creek there which was causing them some problems for crossing, and a couple of people had actually crashed their motorcycles trying to ride across the little dirt patch that they had there. So we built a bridge, nothing fancy, all right. It wasn't like London Bridge, but it was quite an effort, and our Superman team moved on, and they're in the process of finishing that now, I think. We didn't check on it today. So thanks for looking in. Why not look on the bright side and see the joy in what we do? Not everybody can do that. Unfortunately, it depends on your outlook, and depending on how far you are entrenched into that outlook, there's no knowing how long it will take you to get out of it. I remember being in Taliban on a beautiful sunny day and remarking to a neighbour that I met on the sidewalk, and we stood there doing small talk, and I happened to comment. I said, you know, I've seen so many beautiful women. And he turned and said, and I've seen so many ugly women. Kind of tells it all, doesn't it? You see what you are most focused on wanting to see. A friend of mine, Tracy, used to have a not a twisted sense of humour, but very dry, and he knew about the idea of a worm in the mind. In the mind, with the way that your mind works, it filters out what you want to see, and sometimes it filters out what you don't want to see, but you've had implanted in there. And he said that he used to have a lot of fun by going and saying a funny little tune to someone. So in other words, he could go up to someone and say, "Hey, remember your childhood? Ba ba black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, yes sir." And they would come back later that day and say, "Why did you do that? I've been thinking ba ba black sheep everywhere all day." See, sometimes what you try not to be thinking of, you think of. And then other times, if you suddenly say to yourself, I'm really interested in buying a Volvo car, now the mind will filter all of that out, and you will see just how many Volvo cars there are on the road. It's a thing of the mind. Try to focus your mind on something which will bring you joy. That's my suggestion. And bye for now. I'm getting up to turn off.